Right, I hope you can hear me. It's good morning, Heidi, August, Missy, Emerald, Victoria, Amanda, Maria, Bella, Ryson, Susan, and Jade, and the one who is coming forward. Well, then, there are 11 students are able to view my screen and they hear me. That's what I hope. Please type yes if you can hear me so that I can understand there is no problem with the audio or with my microphone, and notify me if you experience any background noise or distractions, or if you happen to experience my voice is low to hear or to understand, you can use this drop box, chat box, drop me a message. Well, thank you, Missy, Bella, and Victoria for helping me out. So, this is week 12. I hope you can agree with me. We are getting into this key lesson for the course. The course is all about English debate. So, it's easy to guess or predict. English debate is nothing but argument for or against. So it's a kind of a two teams, proposition team and opposition team. So this week what we are going to practice or familiarize what are some key elements that is connected with proposition team. So as a lesson, it mentioned constructing a propositional case, which makes sense to me. It's nothing but setting the motion of a debate. A motion is nothing but setting the tone of a debate. So it's nothing but a statement. That's what I can understand. Well, thank you, Brandon. So, constructing a proposition or propositional case. So, what comes to my mind? It's nothing but a proposition is to speak for or propose a policy or a tax, improvise laws or change tax laws or implement policy. That's what I mean. So who is capable of doing all this? Who is the administrator of the nation? So, for example, as an Indian and British England, we see the administrator as nothing but a prime minister of a country is what we call it, administrator. So an administrator can propose new tax laws, implement new policies, or anything that he can propose to build the nation as a better place, or protect the country, or serve the society to increase the peacetime in their life, or ensure a common man is comfortable with the services and security provided by the government. Therefore, Prime Minister is the administrator and and the key responsibility to propose. So that's what I can understand. It's a proposition. So, what is it involved with proposition? When it comes to a prime minister in that country, in India or in England, so which we copy from British parliamentary, because British parliamentary examines the government examines the houses, what we call it in England, what I'm talking about. British parliamentary examines, there are two houses, what we have, House of Commons and House of Lords. So we have the members of Commons and members of Lords. So to come up with an informed decision on a subject, British parliamentary is to analyze and examine, therefore providing support to make use of the taxpayers' money to invest on new policies or new infrastructures to serve better and benefit the citizens of that country. So, therefore, what we have proposition initiated by the Prime Minister, we just copy the same. We find it's beneficial to take the model what they are doing in the British parliamentary. They have a government team and an opposition team. So we take 99% from British parliamentary style of debating as an educational debate in the university or across Asia or South Asia. Well, therefore we have this roles and responsibilities when you have an opportunity to perform in the debate contest. So you will be performing a role of either a Prime Minister or Deputy Prime Minister or member of government or government whip. So each team would be having 4 roles to perform as a debater. And the opponent team, similarly, we have got 4 members, 4 debaters performing a role: leader of opposition, deputy leader of opposition, and similarly we have got member, we have got the whip. So a debate will take place 7 minutes. Each can perform and contribute to defend the Prime Minister for a government team and to defend the leader of opposition, 7 minutes each. So this is how it runs in the debate contest. Well, let's start with what should be happening when constructing a propositional case. So it is the responsibility of a Prime Minister to set motion and then discuss, set motion and not only that setting motion, but also defining what is your defining the key concept of your motion. Motion, in the sense, it's a statement that wanted to, you, you planned to propose. So, what is that kind of a definition? That is how it should be started with. We should discuss our motion key concept definition should be discussed with Deputy Prime Minister, so that our policies, our proposition could be getting the basics right. So, definition is what it matters. We've been 18 weeks practicing. There are two things. There are 6 elements. Could be claim, evidence, warrant, backing, qualifier, and rebuttal. There's these 6 elements what we have been practiced and experienced to propose an argument or a speech. But now what we have, and then what we have got is logical fallacies to evaluate our argument, how effective or convincing. Give me 1 second. Okay, they're silent now. So, logical fallacies and Toulmin framework is the two sides of an argument to win and propose debate or argument. But there are only 6 elements. That's what we have been practiced. But in my opinion, there is one more element. It should be, everyone should be familiar with, or we should be familiar with, and ensure we have discussed that the 7th element to win debates, what I can tell you is definition, because the definition is an element as far as my understanding. For example, let me help you define what is the definition of money to you. If I ask this question with the government will help me understand. Money is the currency. The government, it's a legal currency that government authorized to circulate in order to exchange goods and services. That's what the definition, what we can hear from the government. And you ask a banker, what is the definition of money to you? Possibly they may say, money for us is to circulate, loan the money to the common man. Therefore, the money will be flowing back to the bank as a revenue. So, the flow of a currency is what the definition of a banker to them. And I asked this question with my grandmother, and I asked the same, what is the definition of money to you, Mom? I asked my mom. And I asked the same question with my cousin. What sounds money to you as a definition? What is money to you? Then I asked my wife, what is money to you as a definition? So when I came to know the definition from all the 5 people, it's interesting. Let me share with you. After a quick look, there is some noise distraction I hear. Mama, in the television is right. Right, I'm sorry for this. Right, so the definition I hear from my family, I can tell you. Let me start with my wife. Okay, so I asked this question. She came up. Money to her, it's an end product. Because what she said, what she told me, I see this money as an end product. I want to live my life at present. If I want anything to make me happy, that I need to buy, and I give money and then see the product, that's my money. I mean, she doesn't want to give money to any people. Instead, she give and exchange in the form of a product, in the form of a gift, maybe a watch or anything that she is happy or she enjoyed with buying any product. That's what makes her see as a money that makes her happy. And I asked my mother. My mother told me for her, money is savings in the bank. That's what makes her happy. If I can save money every month in the bank, that I can be safer and secure in the near future. So savings is what that makes me understand is money. And my grandmother, she see the money as what we call it, buying gold coins or gold jewelry and keep it in the house, in the cupboard, and keep it locked. So having so much gold or saving gold is what makes her to see as the definition of money in her mind. And my cousin, I asked him, and he told me to him money is an investment. If you have money, when I can invest money buying land, because in India we can buy land, then that's what, if you have more land, then you can have more money, which means it's not about generating money, it's about the definition in their mind what is money. So to them is having more, to my cousin, to having more land, which helps him to see more money in the near future. So literally, the literal translation, money to him is an investment, money to my mother is savings in the bank, saving in the bank. Money is my grandmother buying, seeing more gold. Money to my wife, having the end product. There are a number of end products if she has, that's what she sees, she's got money. That's what she sees as money. But as a government, it's a printed currency legalized to exchange goods and services. So what we can understand, the definition of money changes to people. Well, let me set you 2 minutes. I'm asking you the same question. What is money to you as a definition? What we have checked from bankers, government, my family, and now the question goes to you. I can wait for you 2 minutes. Let's start now. So you can drop me your response here in the chat box. what is the money? I'm sorry, to you as a definition. Oh my God. Well then, so you can share with me anytime during this class time. So we have checked a definition of money from different perspective from different people. So when it comes to a debate, so a prime minister set the tone as a motion. He has the responsibility to define or the definition of the key concept. So before to begin a debate, Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister and his team members will be allotted 15 minutes to discuss the definition of key concepts and strategies and some key ideas to prove their proposition is correct. So, and similarly, the leader of opposition will be in his team, will be anticipating a definition, and he will have his own definition, understanding against his motion, against the motion set by the Prime Minister. Therefore, because every claim or every statement can be slightly challenged in the form of a definition, because definition is unique to you, to everyone. We cannot expect the same definition. A dictionary definition may be different from other. One dictionary definition is different from other dictionaries. And what we have experienced, the definition of money in the real world is different. That's what they see their life. So this is applicable to a debate contest too. So that's what that makes me to tell you, definition is an element of an argument. So as far as to convince an audience, 6 elements is what is helpful and beneficial or useful. But what I can tell you, there is a 7th element is what it matters, because a debate contest starts with expressing the definition of a key concept or the motion, or part of the key concept in the motion. Therefore, leader of opposition discuss and slightly change the definition, then the debate starts with. So, having gone through some quick view about British parliamentary proposition, motion, and definition, let's start practicing or refamiliarizing from here. Okay, share link. Let me copy this. So, join us. You will have 2 minutes. So we will start in 2 minutes. Those who have joined in, please have patience. So anything we learn should be anything we. I don't believe in learning. I'm just believing in anything we are familiarizing. It's always a good to refamiliarize, and once you are refamiliarized, we should practice or what we call it, do the learning check or perform your understanding so that you can learn and support from one another on a relevant topic or a lesson. Let's see what number of students have joined in. We have got 8 students who are able to interact and discuss for further learning. Let's get started. So others could be joining us very soon. Okay, I hope you are able to view the slide on your device. So to my mind, proposition or propositional case, who can do this constructing a propositional case? 2 people, 2 roles, I mean 2 debaters in the debate contest. One is the role played by Prime Minister, a debater as a Prime Minister, and a debater as a Deputy Prime Minister role. So who are expected to make good use of the first 15-minute preparation time to analyze the motion and develop team strategies the first 15 minutes, and also develop the outline for the first 7-minute speech will be performed by the Prime Minister, and get prepared for possible counter arguments from the oppositional side. Probably the Deputy Prime Minister will be prepared to respond for a possible counter argument when there is an opportunity for a leader of opposition to challenge our definition or the performed speech from the Prime Minister. Now, the ultimate goal is to come to an informed decision on a subject. Informed decision on a subject is what that matters. That is what we call it an outcome of a debate. Let me start with British parliamentary in England. We have got two houses. One is House of Commons and House of Lords. Well, the British parliamentary examines the members of the parliament or members of the government and members of the Lords or Lords of the House. So these two opponents, to assist and examine and analyze the decision they both have come up to benefit the nation, to benefit the nation and people, society. Why do you think they are doing this? Why Prime Minister is taking or debating in the Parliament, proposing any policy, tax laws or anything? Why do you think Prime Minister start doing or working, is the first person to do this in the Parliament? It's because Prime Minister is the administrator of a nation. Prime Minister is the authority to access taxpayers' money. So when you make use of taxpayers' money to implement or to build infrastructure, to renovate the city or build the nation, to protect people, bring new policies, improve tax laws, anything, it's all that he can do it from the taxpayers' money. Therefore, his idea should be discussed, analyzed. His decision should be informed. It's what I can understand. It's an informed decision on a subject so that you can invest the taxpayers' money for the nation and for the people. On the nation and for the people. Now, the leader of opposition, it's not, he is a citizen of that country too. It's not he's against to the Prime Minister. The leader of opposition, his responsibility to fine-tune who benefits and how long that is effective is the idea proposed by Prime Minister. And when do you think the idea will be effective from, and how long the idea or the proposed idea will be effective for whom? So these some kind of benchmarks, some kind of fine-tuning is what the leader of opposition, if it is effective or not, decided, examined in the British parliamentary or by the British parliamentary judges. The same thing what we are doing in the debate contest. To see the outcome as informed decision on a subject. As we have mentioned, the British Parliament, it is the responsibility to examine what the government is doing, making to make a new law and hold the power to set taxes. So that sounds to be the debate and debates the issues of the day in the Parliament. And then, as we have mentioned, we have House of Commons, House of Lords to assist members of Parliament. So this is why in the debate contest, this House believes that proposing an idea, or this House would propose. So there are two things. Either the debater starts with this House believes that, or this House would. So there is no our house or your house. It's nothing. It's the house is in the sense, it's in the room. It's a style of debating. House of Commons, House of Lords to assist members of Parliament and Lords to come up with an informed decision on a subject. They do debates of the issue of the day. So we have got two teams. Proposition team and opposition team. A proposition team, we have got 4 people. There are 2 people belongs to opening government team. Who are they? Is Prime Minister is expected to lay the groundwork for the entire debate by defining the motion. Remember, when the topic translated as a motion, then it is the responsibility of a Prime Minister to define the motion. And who else belongs to opening government after Prime Minister? The Deputy Prime Minister. What's his responsibility? If there is a question in your mind, it is expected to respond. Remember, to respond to the attacks made by the leader of opposition. So which means a Deputy Prime Minister hold a responsibility to strengthen the argument proposed by the Prime Minister and respond to the leader of opposition in the form of a point of information or rebuttal speech when he gets an opportunity for 7 minutes to perform after the leader of opposition. So what we call it, a new substantive argument in favor of the motion. So probably Prime Minister will be proposing 3 arguments after the definition. I mean, after the definition, he could be proposing 3 arguments to support, to prove his motion. But a Deputy Prime Minister will be making a new substantive argument, maybe new argument, what he can propose in his speech, as well as respond to the leader of opposition. So therefore, opening government, we have got Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. So having understood this, let's predict an experiment. What sounds to you? Debate is based on the fair exchange of opinion. Do you agree, disagree, or neutral or unsure, having been listened or familiarized? The purpose of debate in the British Parliamentary and the debate what we are doing in the university as kind of an educational debate. So it's based on a fair exchange of opinion. Let's see what number of students got an opinion. So of the 13, we have got 8. Let's see the polling. Well, 8 of us, we've got, because there is no a different opinion. So you agree with me, it's nothing but it's based on the fair exchange of opinion to come up with an informed decision on a subject. So that's what I too agree. Now, let's see what number of students true or false to this as a response. The proposition is always against the motion, because proposition is performed by Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Let's see the polling. We're living in a democratic world. Proposition is always against the motion. Okay, two believe true and 6 believe that's false. Let's see who gets a win, or what we learn from one another. Well, this makes sense. Proposition is always against the motion is false. When can a debater ask for POI? So let me explain. Let me help you. POI is nothing but point of information. Point of information is nothing but interrupting the debater when they perform. So when can a debater ask for a point of information? What is your prediction? So what I need your performance. So performing on and on, and learning from your performance is what makes you understand better. So that's what we are doing this as a live interactive quiz. So 5 of us believe after the first minute and before the last minute. Let's take a quick look what makes sense and what is in practice in educational debate. It's true. So when can a debater ask for point of information? After the first minute and before the last minute. You can interrupt the debater who is performing in front of the podium for about 7 minutes, either a prime minister or leader of opposition, or a deputy prime minister or deputy leader of opposition, and so on. If you have a question for the speaker and you get chosen during speaker's list, which means debater or adjudicator or you get chosen during speaker's list, you need to say it. This is a kind of a procedure you can experience in the debate contest. Right. Let's see the polling, what we can understand better. So your performances is what I can appreciate. Well, let's learn what sounds appropriate or correct. If you have a question for the speaker and you get chosen during the speaker's list, you need to say in the debate contest, it's point of information. So now we have learned from one another. So performance is what makes you understand better. Well, right here, the topic is being discussed in a debate is called so this is what they will be spending for about first 15 minutes uh, to discuss and analyze and come up with an informed decision to propose in the debate contest by the Prime Minister, who is responsible to set the tone of a debate. Right. So what we have, three different opinions. Let's learn from one another. Allow me to end this due to the time we've got very less. So, the topic that is being discussed in a debate is called motion. So, motion can be defined by the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister have got a responsibility to strengthening it and respond to the counter argument performed or by a leader of opposition. Now, we see a parliament examines and evaluate by a panel of judges. Now, the judge of a debate is called, what do you think that could be, or you can predict? Maybe I can help you. The definition of umpire. Umpire, I mean, if you are familiar with cricket as a sport, which is popular in India and Australia and maybe South Asian countries, or the countries were under the British Empire. So umpire is a definition that you can understand in cricket. Referee, I think I can learn this. You can see this definition in in the sports football, director is a judge in academics. For example, who is my judge in the university? Is my director. And do you in the classroom is your teacher. So having got an idea about what are the definition of these three, and now let's see what sounds to you as adjudicator. So the judge of a debate is called adjudicator. I hope now you have familiarized who is an adjudicator in the debate contest. Now there is an example to understand that is relevant in constructing propositional case. States should raise the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour is an example. So let's get to see the polling, how it goes. 4 of us could come up with evidence, 4 of us motion, 1, 2 to this topic. But let's see what makes sense and what is appropriate as an example. To states should raise the minimum age to at least $15 an hour is an example of motion, because a motion is what set the tone of a debate. So the Prime Minister have got the responsibility to define what is wage. The definition of a wage should be clarified, should be defined to the leader of opposition, to the adjudicators, to the audience, and to have a better understanding with his teammates. Only then you can understand the basics of winning proposition or the opposition, because the definition of wage may differ. The leader of opposition. So any definition, any key concept could be challenged slightly. So that's what I came up with. What is the money to you as definition? Now, when you turn a topic into a statement that can be argued, then the Prime Minister or you or the debater have created in the debate contest. That's what we are talking. We are not dealing with writing essays. It is completely relevant to constructing a propositional case, to perform or to involve in the debate contest. Let's see how many of you got an idea. So it's what we can understand a formative climb, and 3 believe that's motion. So what we are discussing or familiarizing is constructing a propositional case which is relevant and makes sense is what we call it motion. When your topic, for example, corruption is a topic, when you convert them into a statement that can be argued as a motion set a tone of a debate and proposed by the Prime Minister. So it's what makes sense is motion. What is the motion of a debate? Now, I hope this you can understand better when you are able to answer, respond previous questions. Short interjections like questions, comments, statements that opposite team can refer the debater who is speaking is called, what do you call it? PIO or POI? So this is it's jargon used in the debate contest. Okay, let me cross check the polling. So 8 of us believe that's point of information. So I hope now you can understand what is point of information in the debate contest that you can perform after the first minute of the speech or before the last minute of the speech, like questions, comments, statements that opposite team can offer the debater who is speaking is called, what you can name it, POI, point of information. Now we are trying to familiarize the roles and responsibilities in a debate contest, or that we have adopted from the British parliamentary. So give clear background, that's a typo error, please apologize, about the motion and bring up the early argument of the reason government agree with the motion and tasks off. So there is a clue here, Prime Minister, and the question is dealing with the government. You can understand Prime Minister is the administrator of the government. Therefore, what makes sense and what sounds appropriate, only a Prime Minister can give a clear background about the motion and bring up early argument of the reason that government agree with the motion or tasks or the tasks that is belongs to Prime Minister. And then member of opposition, third speaker, and opposition whip, or the roles that will be played in the debate contest as well as in the British parliamentary debate. So third and fourth speaker of member of opposition, what you can name it? So it sounds, because the terms may be unfamiliar to you, but performing with your prediction, which makes you to understand better once you get to see an appropriate answer. So have courage to perform what makes intuitively right to you. We learn through performance. Let me end up. So the third and fourth speaker, it's easy to guess it's a closing team, but the member of opposition, therefore it's a closing opposition team, because it doesn't make sense a closing government team, because the government team to have a member of government and government whip. Therefore, this makes sense. Closing opposition team. There is an opening team and there is a closing team. Opening, we have got Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. And opening opposition team, what we have? Leader of opposition and Deputy Leader of opposition. Okay. Now the leader of opposition, first speaker, and leader of opposition, second speakers are included. I hope you can predict as quick as possible here. But though we have got one response as a performance, opening government, and 5 of us, which makes sense responding as opening opposition team. Well, allow me to end this so that it's easy to understand what are the two teams. So we have opening opposition team and closing opposition team, leader of opposition and deputy leader of opposition, kind of a second leader of opposition. Well, member of the government and government whip, which means third and fourth speaker, are included. Well, I can understand you can see the question, member of government and government whip, third and fourth speaker. It's easy to understand it's a closing team. Therefore, when it is involved with the government, so which we can learn from 3 people, which makes sense to see an answer as a closing government team. Prime Minister, the first speaker, Deputy Prime Minister, second speaker are included. So well, I believe it's a quick understanding or learning check. Opening government team, that's what they belong, Prime Minister, because Prime Minister is the representative of people or the administrator of the government to serve the nation. So this is what what we have experienced or refamiliarized about constructing a propositional case and setting the motion. Then the roles and responsibility of a debate contest, which is adopted from the British parliamentary style. Class participation. So you can make use of this as an evidence that you have performed and practiced understanding or familiarizing, constructing a propositional case, or familiarizing the roles and responsibilities of a debate, British parliamentary debating style. So, having with this, we have refamiliarized how the construction of a proposition case and who plays the key role proposing or constructing propositional case: Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, member of government who will be taking analytical notes and playing a key role in point of information and adding some new ideas that could be strengthening the proposal performed by Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. And whereas the government whip will not invent or propose new ideas, but he has got a responsibility to summarize the key ideas that the constructing the proposition team have a valid arguments, have come up with valid arguments. Therefore, they or convincing the judges, adjudicators, and audience to win debate. That's kind of a sum up for a 7-minute speech. So this is how what we have familiarized and refamiliarized constructing propositional case from Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, member of the government, and government whip. So 4 of us in a team. Similarly, the leader of opposition we will be practicing next week.